Donald Trump says something no outsider normally says out loud, that he must personally participate in choosing Iran's next leader. Not observe. Not react. Participate. And one name, he insists, is already unacceptable. Statement lands like a shockwave. Because leadership in Iran is supposed to be an internal decision. But Trump is talking as if the process is already open, and as if he intends to shape it. Then comes the second part, the one that makes people pause. Trump says one candidate is already off the table. Not negotiable. Not acceptable. And that name? The son of Ayatollah Khamenei. That claim raises a deeper question. If Trump believes he must participate in choosing Iran's next leader, who exactly is he talking to? And what kind of process does he think is coming? Because here's the contradiction. Iran's leadership succession traditionally happens inside its own political structure. Yet Trump is describing a moment where outside power could suddenly matter. And honestly? Trump might understand something others aren't saying out loud, that a leadership change inside Iran could reshape global power overnight. That possibility alone explains why his words hit so hard. But Trump doesn't stop with speculation. He frames the moment as inevitable, a coming decision about Iran's future leadership where, in his view, the United States cannot simply stand on the sidelines. The message spreads fast. Trump says participation matters. And rejecting Khamenei's son isn't just a preference, it's a line he claims he would not cross under any circumstances. Now step back for a second. A former US president publicly talking about participating in Iran's leadership selection isn't normal diplomacy. It's a signal. And signals like this rarely appear without purpose. Meanwhile, the key name remains the same. Khamenei's son. Trump repeats it clearly, that he would not accept him becoming Iran's next leader. No ambiguity. No soft language. And here's where the tension builds. Because when Trump speaks this directly about leadership succession in another country, the reaction isn't just political. It becomes strategic. Trump's language makes it sound less like speculation and more like a future negotiation. A moment where leadership in Iran becomes part of a much larger geopolitical conversation. Because if Trump believes he must participate in choosing Iran's next leader, that implies something extraordinary, that the decision could ripple far beyond Iran's borders. And then there's the silence around the other side of the equation. Trump names the candidate he rejects. But the bigger mystery remains, who does he think should lead Iran instead? The moment becomes even more explosive when you realize what Trump is implying, that leadership succession in Iran might not stay confined to Tehran's internal politics. And here's the uncomfortable part. If Trump truly believes outside influence belongs in Iran's leadership selection, then the entire concept of national sovereignty suddenly becomes part of the debate. Critics hear something dangerous in the statement. Supporters hear strength. Either way, Trump's words force the same question into the open: who really shapes Iran's future leadership? Controversial. Because once Trump publicly rejects Khamenei's son as Iran's next leader, the conversation changes. It's no longer just about succession. It becomes a test of influence. And influence is exactly what Trump keeps hinting at, that the next leader of Iran will matter far beyond Iran itself. A decision that could reshape alliances overnight. So the claim now hangs in the air. Trump says he must participate in choosing Iran's next leader, and Khamenei's son is unacceptable. But the real question isn't what he said. It's what happens if that moment actually arrives. The moment Trump says it publicly, that he must participate in choosing Iran's next leader, the atmosphere shifts instantly. This isn't quiet diplomacy anymore. It's a declaration. And every capital listening suddenly realizes what that means. Here's what I keep coming back to: Trump doesn't hedge. He doesn't soften it. He names the red line directly: Khamenei's son cannot become Iran's next leader. Not acceptable. Not under any circumstance he recognizes. Slow it down for a second. The sentence lands. Trump says he must participate. The name Khamenei's son is rejected. And suddenly the conversation about Iran's future leadership isn't just internal anymore. It's global. And honestly? The thing people won't say is this: once Trump publicly rejects Khamenei's son as Iran's next leader, the entire succession discussion becomes a contest of influence. Not just who leads Iran, but who gets a voice in choosing. This was never just about Iran's next leader. It was about who believes they get a say in that decision. And honestly, Trump saying he must participate changes the stakes instantly. Do you believe Trump should have a voice in Iran's leadership choice, or absolutely not? Drop your answer below. I have a take, and I want to know if you see the same thing.